Welcome in everybody to what is our second in this video series about the 2019 NHL playoffs. To my left, Matt Hoyt. Next to him, Malik Jackson. I'm of course Jake Senholz, and if you didn't get a chance to see our first video, do not worry about it, because man, were we wrong. We were wrong. So don't worry about the first video. Glad you're with us now, and we're gonna dive right into it. We're got a little bit of a limited time space tonight, so let's talk about it right away, guys. What in the world happened with the Lightning? Now, in our first video, one of the things that we did talk about was there going to be any sweeps. I think Hoyt was the only one that said there was going to be a sweep. I don't know if you did, Malik. I think Hoyt, I did. But I believe you said the Maple Leafs were going to sweep.
No, I said the Predators were going to
Predators.
sweep.
Oh my God. Either way, we had two sweeps so far in the first series. My Penguins went down, and then the President Trophy winners. Winners of 62 games in the regular season, 128 points, the Tampa Bay Lighting. They go down to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets have never won a series in their history. They've never won a playoff series. They sweep the President Trophy winners. I keep wanting to call it Cup, but anyways, guys, what happened here?
Dude, I don't know. My opinion on that is that, well, the Blue Jackets have been playing. You just think about it. The Blue Jackets have been playing playoff hockey for the past month. They've been fighting just to get in the playoffs. So at this point, they're just clicking on all cylinders. And I think the Lightning have just been coasting. That's what they've been doing. They've just been coasting for the last month. They've been in the lead for the league for.
They lost one game in December.
Yeah, see, they were playing their best hockey in December, when really they need to play their best hockey right now, and that didn't happen.
Yeah, their most losses this year in a month was 5.
Yeah, it's man, that was just a shock to me. I was just shocked about the whole situation. I watched every single game. I remember game 1, the Lightning were up 3-0, and then the Columbus Blue Jackets just stormed back, and they just
in game 1 they were up 3-0 in the second period, right?
Yeah, yep. And they just stormed back, and they got outcoached, and that is the narrative of this series, you guys. I really believe that they just got outcoached. John Tortorella, game 1, after the second period, he went into the locker room, and it was actually a media member in there, and he went off on his team. He said, just go out there and effing play. And that's all that they needed to do, because at the end of the day, you have nothing to lose going up against this team who set franchise records, set almost NHL records, winning 62 games and having 128 points. So it's like, go out and give it all. And they did. And John Cooper, I don't know what to say.
Oh, my God. And John Cooper, I remember seeing him in a media interview. I think it was after the third loss or second loss or something. Mm-hmm. He just looked absolutely defeated, like no hope at all. And I found that hilarious. I don't know. I think it's cool that John Tortorella is he won a cup with the Lightning back in the mid 2000s. Now he's coming back and just shoving it right down their throat. I think that's just great in itself.
Well, the Lightning, they didn't look like themselves. I don't know if they just were so shell shocked or honestly what it was, because they were towards the top of the league, I think, in power play efficiency. They were only 1 for 7 in this series. Were they number 1 on playoff?
They were number 1 in the regular season.
Number 1, and they only go 1 for 7 this entire series on the power play. And get this too, Sergei Bobrovsky, that's how you say his name, right? Bobrovsky.
Yeah. Unreal.
109 saves on 117 shots. So he only allowed 6 goals all tournament. He had just over a two goals against.
3-2 save.
Yeah, but that's the big number right there. 9.32 save percentage.
Yeah, that's huge.
Well, Jake, you as a goalie, just talk about how coming into the Stanley Cup playoffs, how that spinal cord of the hockey team, how it matters so much. You always attest to that. That's just phenomenal right there.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, really, really not too much else to say. This nobody expected this, for one thing.
Nope.
Did you know that the Lightning have not lost? They did not lose 3 games in a row all season. That stat?
Dude,
until literally.
I believe that because they had multiple months where they didn't lose 3 games in a month. So it's like, dude, that's crazy. So it's like, again, I say it, this is one of the reasons that I love the NHL playoffs. Again, you would never expect this in the NBA playoffs. We've seen, so far in the NBA playoffs, we've seen an 8 beat a 1 2 times. Whoop-de-doo. It's probably going to be the only game they get. We just saw an 8 seed sweep a 1 seed, the President Trophy winner.
Yeah, that was remarkable. And, I mean, give credit to the Columbus Blue Jackets. They all came out. They were all in together. Timmy Panarin, I mean, you go from being on the Stanley Cup contender team when they fall off being with the Chicago Blackhawks. You get traded. The Breadman got traded. I remember when he got traded, and I was like, wow, they really just got rid of him?
Yeah,
and him and Patrick Kane, their line duo was amazing.
I thought, why go to Columbus too? Like that was a surprise to me also. But I mean, obviously it's working out.
Yeah, they've been working. The Columbus Blue Jackets have been working, having Seth Jones as their defenseman, then also adding Matt Duchene.
He was a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean,
like a 5-point game, like the second game, like he just went off. So
yeah, it's pretty remarkable.
That was insane. Yeah.
Well, I mean, hopefully the Blue Jackets are able. I think obviously they're legitimate right now. That doesn't just happen, you know. So I think look for them maybe to grab another postseason victory here. I don't know
who they're playing.
Yeah, I'm not looking at the bracket, so I don't know who would be.
They would play the Boston Bruins or the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Right. Okay, so
yeah.
So
that series,
that's a tough. Yeah, that series might go 7. We'll probably talk about it in a bit. I want to get the other sweep out of the way, though.
Of course.
My Penguins got swept by the Islanders. Yeah. Islanders, of course, is Barry Trotz. Barry Trotz wins a Stanley Cup with the Washington Capitals last year. He leaves. A lot of people were questioning it from both sides. The Capitals fans were questioning it. I don't know if the players were, but I mean,
it made sense.
It made sense in some aspects. It was also like, you know, you just get it. You just got here. You just like reached the heights with this team. Yeah. Why are you leaving at the very peak? I mean, I can see it from both sides. Yeah. However, he moves on. He joins an Islander squad that, as we established, has lost John Tavares, but they made other changes as well. They go on. They sweep the obviously back-to-back champions. Sidney Crosby, some people consider him the best player in the NHL. I mean, obviously the Penguins. Obviously the Penguins. There's a whole list of accolades. Malik likes to. Go ahead, Malik. How many points does Sidney Crosby have this whole series?
He only had 1 assist in the entire series, and he had less than 10 shot attempts on goal. Can you believe that?
So okay,
less than 10.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna need more.
You're Sidney Crosby.
So, but like I've said before, they've had success in the past. This team, not all great teams can stay together forever. You're going to go through lulls, even when you have the greatest players in the world.
That's true.
And this is a down year, certainly, but they still made the playoffs. And even though they got swept, it's like they're going to be there again next year. So, whatever, they're not going to win the cup this year. That's fine.
Yeah.
It still sucks to get swept, but...
Definitely.
Yeah. I mean, to me, like, it's still surprising to me, but I don't think it's all as surprising as Columbus beating Tampa Bay.
Oh, no.
Not at all.
But, I mean, I still am surprised that the Penguins didn't even get one game. Like, out of all the experience that they have in their team, Kessel, Malkin, Crosby, all of them, their team hasn't changed a ton since, like, the cups that they won. So, like, to me, it just kind of surprised me that they didn't even get one. They didn't look good at all.
Yeah, it was it was just really surprising that, it starts with Sidney Crosby, I think, and then also having Evgeny Malkin not at his top tier play. I mean, like I said on the predictions show, the Pittsburgh Penguins really didn't look the same this season. I mean, they barely made it to the playoffs. I mean, they were the third or second team in the Metropolitan Division, but they just weren't themselves. We're usually looking at the Pittsburgh Penguins contending for either being the best team in the Eastern Conference or possibly being the champions in the Metropolitan. And they just weren't that this year. So I really wasn't surprised. I mean, I was surprised to see them get swept. I'm not going to lie. Like you said, the experience that they have, it was shocking to me. But nothing can compare to the Steven Stamkos Tampa Bay Lightning team. And for Nikita Kucherov to get suspended in Game 3,
that
was very pivotal. And I said pivotal. It was very pivotal. Oh my goodness. Pivotal. Oh my goodness. It was just a shocking thing for me to just see him to. Nah, we're gonna keep that. I guess, like Jake said, but it was crazy to me, man.
It's live, baby. So the just to wrap up chat here, the Tampa Bay Lightning are 350 to 1 odd favorite to win this series.
Oh my goodness.
350 compared to the Blue Jackets. Blue Jackets were plus 275. The Tampa Bay was minus 350, which means it was 350 in favor of the Blue Jackets, or excuse me, of the Lightning, which is a huge number. It's a very big number. Yeah. And that's just for them to win the series. I have no idea what the odds would have been for them to sweep the series.
Oh man, that was outrageously high. And I mean, you talk about just this first series, but for them to win the Stanley Cup, their odds were crazy. I think it was the highest in the NHL. I think it was like minus 1,000 or something like that, 1,100, something like that. It was crazy, but I as we all are, we were shocked, and you can see it on our last video if you wanted to look at it. We all thought that the Lightning were going to win in like 5 or 6 games.
We're all very wrong.
We were very wrong. So,
all right, well let's move on and talk about a series that I didn't think I was going to really have much interest in, but it's probably caught my attention more so than almost any other series. And that is the Colorado Avalanche versus Calgary Flames series. Man. The Avalanche, man, they're playing way better than I thought that they were capable of, and it doesn't hurt that Hobe Baker winner Cale Maker is now, or is it Makar? I think they said Makar. Yeah, Cale Makar.
I think.
Anyway, he won the Hobe Baker Award, which is the best player in all of college hockey. He played in a national championship for UMass. Of course, they lost to UMD. But 2 days after he played in that national championship, he was on a plane and joined his teammates now in a Colorado Avalanche jersey. And he went out. He plays defense. He had the courage and the ability, obviously, to step up, join the play. A really nice rush. He gets a shot in front, scores a goal on his first shot in his first period of his first NHL game.
Unreal.
That's a heck of a week for Cale Makar. If only he could have won the national championship. But anyways, you take this team that's got a lot of young talent, goaltender who was once in a backup position, and now he's playing. He's a starter on a playoff team. So you've got a guy playing with a lot of motivation there, and then you add a player like Makar. Now the Avalanche go and they get themselves a nice overtime victory to take a 3-1 series lead.
Yeah.
They're looking pretty dangerous, and the number 1 seeds this year not faring too well in the NHL playoffs.
I think that alludes to like kind of what you're saying about the difference maybe between NBA and NHL, and that a number 1 seed and a number 8 seed really doesn't matter in the NHL.
Numbers don't matter.
And this year I think really proves it. I think. I mean, both these number 1 seeds are really not playing good at all. Like Calgary hasn't been able to get their game going. They looked good in their first game, but since then, nothing. So yeah, I think it's interesting to watch, and I think I'd like to kind of, look. I like to look at this Calgary, Colorado series, kind of like the Columbus Lightning series where the Avs were playing, playoff hockey. They've been playing their, top level hockey for a while now. Whereas Calgary, I mean, they were playing all right at the end of the season, but they may have just let their guard down a little bit and get in the Avs.
They just played so well. They had so much success in the regular season. It's like you talk about this, especially growing up, being a hockey player, and your coaches preach this all the time. You don't overlook anybody. You can't take anybody for granted, any opponent. You can't be looking at the next one. And I'm sure all these guys know that, obviously. But it's just sometimes I guess you can't help yourself, especially when you're the number 1 seed, you're feeling good, whatever. And then you come in, you lose a couple quick games, and now you're staring 3-1 in the face.
Yes.
One thing that I'm looking eager to see, though, in the future, they're talking about changing up the playoff playoff what is it, the layout of the playoff schedule.
Yeah.
So like instead of the number one having the wild card, they'll switch it up and like have because now it's like the Pacific and the Atlantic, and their separate conferences instead of having like the different one, or the Atlantic and the Metropolitan, but like they're separated. You get what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
So like they should intertwine the teams that way that it's not the same. The Pittsburgh Penguins and the Capitals in the second round. Like I think that they should switch it up. But still, you just don't go out. And I think that this Colorado Avalanche team having Nathan McKinnon, he scored the game-winning overtime goal in Calgary. It was the shot was amazing. He went glove hand on Mike Smith. It was just a beautiful shot. He plays a lot. He plays a lot like a young Ovechkin in my comparison.
Mike Smith came out. He had I think a 39 save shutout or something like that in his first game. Looked amazing. And now one of the things that we did get right, one of the few things from the first video, Matt said I don't trust Mike Smith, and I mean he looked like he was scrambling a lot the other night.
Last night, I think it was last night they had a game, that overtime game. But, I mean, that was a close game. That was, 3-2 finish.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember another one of their games, they dropped, it was 6-2 or something.
They came out and it was 5-0, I think.
Absolutely got lit up. So, I mean, that's that's one thing that I actually was right about, was that Mike Smith was going to be inconsistent. And, but I still picked them to win. So, I mean, picked Calgary to win. So
they have a chance.
I mean, they have a chance, but I mean, it's gonna be tough for them.
It's really going to be hard, especially with that top line. And for the Avs, you got Landeskog, Retsinen, and Nathan McKinnon. Those three players right there are so talented, and I think Retsinen got the game-winning goal last night, and it was a beautiful slap shot on the right side. He went glove side on Mike Smith, and nothing he could do.
So we're all pretty much in agreement that Colorado takes this series.
I mean, the momentum, man. Hockey's a game of momentum, so
we weren't convinced right away. I think so.
Yeah,
I think so.
I don't see them. Point. Yeah, I don't see them giving up this 3-1 series.
So they win the next game.
Do they win the next game? No, I don't think
Calgary,
so. I don't think so. But
I think it'll be 6.
Down to 6?
Yeah. And I can see it being not even a close game 6 either, like a 4-5 goal game again. I could see Colorado just taking it to them.
Sure.
I say that Colorado wins, but they win in 7. I think that the Flames will bounce back.
So you think that they're going to win it back in Calgary?
I think they'll win in Calgary, come back, win it in the Pepsi Center, and then they'll go back to Calgary, and I think that the Flames will lose.
Well, yeah, you think that Colorado is going to win the series in Calgary.
In 7, yep.
All right. Let's talk about the Caps and the Sharks series both, and then we'll touch on all the remaining ones.
Okay.
Let's talk Caps first, because that's a little bit more positive.
Yes.
I mean, Caps are looking good, man. Caps are probably look like the best team in the playoffs right now. Arguably the Golden Knights. Depends. But again,
that's a good argument.
Again, that's the next series. Caps looking good. They're up 2-1 in the series, playing right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hurricanes are currently up 1-0 at the end of the first period.
Yeah. They scored 17 seconds into the game.
That's right, 17 seconds.
Yeah. Fogle got another goal on Hobe, and it's not. I mean, the Canes they're at home, so they're feeding off of that energy down there in Carolina. So I mean, hey, it's pretty electric. That atmosphere down there is really alive, and Justin Williams has this team really going at it right now. I mean, he is Mr. Game 7. He has a couple cups under his belt with the Kings, so he knows how to win games. He's been there, he's done it, and they have Sebastian Aho, a very talented player. He's an all-star in my opinion. He made the all-star game this year. He's really, really good, and he always torches the Washington Capitals. It's just something that they have to do better with. I really think that losing Michael Kempney at the later stages of this season, the defenseman for the Washington Capitals, it's starting to show up now because their defense isn't as the blue line isn't as good as it was during the regular season in the beginning parts and during the later stages after the All-Star break. And now it's starting to break down a little bit, and you saw them win the game. They shut the Capitals out. It was 5-0 in Game 3.
Yeah, that was
so even though Ovechkin, he knocked them out,
Let's
but
talk about that.
yeah, that how about
we
that?
Probably should talk about
Yeah, how about
That's
that?
right.
Though?
You said you had.
boy.
Yeah. Okay.
I had some good
That
opinions
was-
on that.
Yeah. Matt's got a take on it. I personally, I walked in and I was like, that was just dumb, man. I was like, Ovechkin's big. He's scary. He's in a bad mood. And he's in the zone, ready for the playoffs. You're a 19-year-old kid. I know Matt thinks he's the exact opposite, but like he was a top round pick. A lot of things resemble. I just think it was silly to think that you had any sort of like, dude, you're gonna get hurt. You take out Ovechkin like that, you're gonna get hurt. You're gonna miss the rest of the series. Like he got clocked.
No,
but anyway, Matt, what do you think about it?
No, I don't think it was dumb. I mean, I don't think it was smart, but I don't think it was dumb either. I think, because you're 19. He's the best goal scorer in the league. So I mean, you fight him. You take him out for 5 minutes. You get your team all energized.
That's true.
He didn't go in figuring that he was gonna get knocked out the way he did.
Really quickly too.
Really fast. But I don't think it was all that stupid because he took him out for 5 minutes. He energized his team, and look what happened.
Yeah.
They won 5-0.
Yeah, they did.
They did win. Yeah, they did win 5-0. And
like imagine yourself on the bench, right? And you have your 19-year-old. You literally this 19-year-old kid out there fighting the biggest goal scorer in the world.
Yeah.
And you see him get knocked out. Like, yeah, shit, that sucks. But but you look at that and you're like, we gotta sorry about the language. You can bleep that out. But our youngest player just went out there and tried fighting the best goal scorer, arguably almost of all time, and that's got to get me fired up. If he's going out there, he's giving it his all. I'm gonna step up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously he's showing clearly that he's giving it all. He's willing to sacrifice everything, whatever.
I don't know if he planned it.
Like you said, no, he didn't plan on it. But also,
Yeah.
something to keep in mind, this isn't just some 19-year-old kid or whatever. He's 19 in the NHL for a reason. He was the number 2 overall pick. This is a talented kid. So that's just another reason that it's obviously you don't go into it thinking I'm going to get my jaw broke. But what happens when he gets his jaw broke and then they lose one of their more talented players for the rest of the series?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So...
He scored. I mean, and he looked up to Ovechkin. He had posters of Alex Ovechkin on his walls growing up. His older brother actually had a direct tweet to Alex Ovechkin and said, "Oh, really?"
Called him out.
He said, "Yeah." He called him out and was like, "Yeah, I have somebody that you can fight, and it's me." So I mean, it is what it is. But he asked to fight Ovi, and that's what. And I mean, Ovi did a class act in the post game. He said that first he's starting off, he was just like, I hope that he's okay. I hope he's not really severely injured, but he asked to fight me. Right. So, I mean, what do you want me to do? I mean, I'm trying to get my team riled up, too. I'm the captain of the Washington Capitals. And, I mean, the energy, even though he knocked them out, it didn't do anything for the Caps because they got shut out. And, I mean, give credit to this Carolina team. They're really hanging in there with the Stanley Cup champs right now.
I know there was some blowback. People were I read an article where people were calling Ovechkin why would you do that? And I'm like, if somebody tries to fight you,
right?
You're just gonna fight them.
It's easy for us to make connections they're both Russian, they're both great players, they're both whatever, but they don't care about that. They don't care. A lot of times you don't care if you're real brothers. Brothers will go at it in the heat of the battle. Especially, you see it in the NFL all the time. It's a quote-unquote meaningless regular season game, and there's real brothers thrown down, or there's family all the time, or it's whatever. It's competition. So in that instance, especially when you're getting cocked off, Ovechkin's not sitting there thinking well, he's Russian too. I'm not going to fight him. That. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So,
but anyways, I mean, just looking forward to the rest of this series. It's 1-0 right now after the end of the first period.
Still in the first intermission.
I just think that the Capitals need to focus.
We're actually 4 minutes into the second period, but still 1-0.
Yeah, the Capitals need to get on their A game. They need to start dumping and chasing and get on a forecheck. Their forecheck has not been good in this series. The first 2 games it was. The third game, they were not doing good on the forecheck at all. So they really have to dig deep, stay in the offensive zone, and score on the power play. They have to get back into their groove. But what the Carolina Hurricanes are doing, they are not letting them smoothly transition into coming into the zone. So they're stopping them in the neutral zone and not letting them, they're not letting Backstrom, they're not letting Kuznetsov come into the zone and set it up.
Yeah, not letting them get comfortable.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. You can't let these top tier power play teams get comfortable, because if you do,
it's tic-tac-toe,
it's tic-tac
back
goal.
of the net.
There you go. And I think that's something that the Columbus Blue Jackets did very well with Kucherov, Hedman, Stamkos. You have all of these talented players. You got Yanni Gourde, and they played phenomenally against them. So I think that that's something that the Caps have to work on in order to win this series. But I do think that experience will come into play, and I think that the Capitals will win in probably 6 games. I'll say that the Carolina Hurricanes, they'll win another game. I don't know if they might win this game tonight, but the Caps they'll get something under their belts and start to play more physical and get things done.
Yeah, still lots of time. 2/3 of this hockey game left. Wouldn't be surprised if Capitals do win tonight. I never had any doubt they're going to win this series, but I want to move on to one last team in depth here, and then we'll kind of just touch on the other ones, because I know we only got about 10 minutes here or so. Malik's got to play basketball tonight. It's hockey season, and Malik's worried about playing basketball.
Well, it's the NBA playoffs too.
I mean, it is, but we're not talking NBA playoffs.
We're not.
So,
and I love the Stanley Cup playoffs too.
I know. So. Anyways, I want to talk about the Golden Knights and the San Jose Sharks series. I want to touch on a few different points here, but I want to start off by saying I think that I did the same thing that many other people did this year with the Golden Knights, and that's not give them the amount of respect or the amount of attention that they deserve. I think everybody loved their story last year, paid attention to oh, this brand new team, this is such a good team, everything like that. Yep. But then this year, they took steps to get better. They made trades, they brought good players in. Marc-Andre Fleury is playing just as well, if not better, than he did last year. And yet, for some reason, people weren't paying attention to him in the same way. I think that they just thought that they weren't going to be able to do it again. They were going to take a step back, whatever. This team is not as good as it was last year. And then they match up with a team in the Sharks who everybody wants to love. The Sharks are one of those teams where you can hardly find anybody that dislikes them. No. People like the Sharks and they want to see them win. They like the players on the team. But the Sharks are just another team that they get to the playoffs and they have struggles. So you combine these two things. I really just thought this was the Sharks' year. I thought they were just going to mosey on by the Golden Knights this year. Well, Marc-Andre Fleury's doing his thing. He's got another shutout. One shutout so far, right? Yeah. Yep. He's a shutout machine in the playoffs. I mean, I've never seen anybody pump out numbers in the playoffs this type of way, except for Martin Brodeur. And it's just amazing what they've been able to do because, like I said, I think they came into this underrated. Everybody wanted to see it and expected to see the Sharks win. And the Golden Knights are just playing hockey, and the Sharks have no answers right now.
Yeah, I think it'd be helpful for the Sharks if they didn't get scored on the first 2 minutes of every game.
Almost every game.
Literally every game. Actually, the past 3 games, I believe they've been scored on in the first 2 minutes of each of those games. So if you're just starting in the hole, that's not a good way to start a game. But also, it just kind of speaks to how ready they actually are for the game. You go out there, you need to be ready to go right away, and it just doesn't feel like they are, And I think also Martin Jones is having trouble making saves. He's really, really subpar right now, and I think that's definitely affecting their team.
And you've said Martin Jones.
That's why this series is where it is.
You said Martin Jones, even at his best, he's a middle of the road guy. Yeah. So when he's not playing his best, it's
Yeah, you definitely suffer, and you can see that. You can see that in the series.
I love the point that you said, Jake, when you talked about the additions that the Golden Knights made. They picked up Mark Stone from the Ottawa Senators.
He is
crazy so good. They still have Jonathan Marchessault. They still have William Karlsson. They have these premier players. They signed Max Pacioretty to a deal. They have these players that know how to score goals. They know how to put the puck in the net. So, I mean, it's just shocking to me that I really thought that this San Jose Sharks team was going to do defensively. I mean, you guys didn't have what's his name? Your defenseman.
Carlson?
Nope,
Vlasic.
Vlasic, and I think he's playing tonight.
Well, what's your feeling about Brent Burns and his defensive play, Matt?
Oh, I have so I played defense, my whole life, and it's just sometimes it's just terrible watching. It sucks watching Brent Burns play sometimes because his gaps are bad. Are we pausing?
No.
Okay. So the thing about Brent Burns is that his gaps he's terrible at playing defense. He plays defense, he scores on defense, but he's terrible at playing defense. His gaps are terrible. He's always swinging at the puck, one hand on the stick. It's just awful, and it's hard to watch. And honestly, I think that's what's the difference in this series too, is that the Golden Knights they have those two-way players like Stastny. Pacioretty is decent in both ends. You have those players like Mark Stone who are decent in both ends. Whereas with the Sharks, you got Carlson and Burns playing defense. If you got them out there like 50% of the game, 66% of the game, you got rushes like 2-on-1s and 3-on-1s.
They're trying to score goals all the
Yeah.
time.
And you got Martin Jones not making saves, and it's just you're not going to win that way.
And another thing is Reeves. He's taking Evander Kane out of his mental game right now. He's really he doesn't play that many minutes, but just him coming in and affecting Evander Kane, him getting into a tussle with him, mentally as a hockey player, you have to get yourself in the game. And Evander Kane has to play better. He is one of the top tier players on you guys' team that will go out and score goals. And he hasn't been productive in the playoffs. So he needs to improve. And the only way that they can come back in this series tonight is they got to dominate, and they're at home, right? We're in the Shark Tank tonight, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Yep, it's Game 5. Golden Knights lead the series 3-1. They have a chance to put the Sharks away, as Malik mentioned, in San Jose at 9 o'clock tonight. So let's just talk quickly about the remaining two series, because I believe both of these series... Actually, we got 3 left to talk about, but we'll focus on them more in the next video, because I believe all these series have the potential to go 7 games. First of all, we got the Maple Leafs and the Bruins currently tied at 2 games apiece. We've also got the Dallas Stars and the Nashville Predators also tied at 2 games apiece. And then finally, we've got the Winnipeg Jets and the St. Louis Blues also tied at 2 games apiece. So as I said, lots of potential to go anywhere. All these series now becoming 3-game series. I think all 3 of them have potential to go to the Game 7s. Anything special between any of these series that jumps out you guys want to maybe talk about?
I think I don't have much to say about the Sharks, the Stars, Predators, and Jets and Blues. Really, I think those can go either way at this point. My Nashville Dallas prediction was completely wrong, so I eat my words on that one. But I think
Dallas is playing really well too.
Yeah, I did not expect that. I haven't really caught up with that series a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I think the Maple Leafs Bruins series is one of the best series in this playoff so far. I think it's definitely one of those championship series. One of these teams is gonna have a really good shot at making it all the way to the end, to the final. So I really enjoy watching those two teams play.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely that series has been remarkable. I've watched a couple of those games. It's been weird. It's like the Maple Leafs will go up by 3 goals, and then you have the Bruins will come out and score 4 goals in a row. Yeah. They'll go up 4-3. So it's been a back and forth series. It's craziness. And it's also the same with the Blues and the Jets series. The Jets, they'll score a lot of goals. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Alex Ovechkin just scored on the power play. So now it's tied up 1-1.
There we go. Okay.
Just spoke about them doing better on the power play, and there you go.
Yeah, you got him.
But the Blues and the Winnipeg series has actually been going back and forth as well. I'm looking forward to the 2 goal scorers on both of those teams. Patrick Laine, he scored in Game 1, but he's been kind of quiet. And I'm also looking out for Vladimir Tarasenko to go off and show his worth. I mean, he's a phenomenal goal scorer, and I talked about this in the first episode. But those 2 players have to assert themselves, and Kyle Connor has been great for the Jets as well. I think he scored the game-winning goal.
Yeah, And you mentioned the Jets' ability to score goals, but the Jets Blue Series has mostly been. I mean, there's been a lot of shots, but it's been surrounding in defense. It's been a defensive game. I mean, 2 games have ended in a score of 2-1. Another one 4-3. So you got 3 out of 4 games right now, 1-goal games. The outlier, of course, as we mentioned, the Jets scoring 6 goals in that game 3 to beat the Blues 6-3. But again, this series kind of gone back and forth. The Blues picked up the first 2 games. The Jets won the next 2, and now again, all 3 of these series have come down to a 3-game series, which is
just weird.
Yeah, as a fan,
all the away
that's
games.
What you want, though.
Yeah,
that's
all
what
the
I'm
away
saying.
teams are.
Guys, this has been the most awkward NHL playoffs the Stanley Cup playoffs I've ever seen.
This is what you want, though. I mean, it's what we've come to expect. Very rarely do you see the NHL playoffs go chalk.
Yep.
Right.
So, that's so true.
And we were wrong on a lot of things. So.
For sure.
We were wrong on a lot of things, and
for sure.
I think we're better. We're better suited for analyzing than we are for predicting, man.
Yeah, probably.
But you can't predict the 62-win team to get swept.
No,
that's something you would never predict.
No, if anybody put any
odds on that,
right?
Like, oh my God.
If you can find the odds on that, you can leave us a comment on YouTube. You can tweet us. I think that's all we're gonna have time for tonight. But some amazing playoff hockey.
Definitely.
If you are not a fan of the NHL or you just haven't really been watching the games, I encourage you, turn these games on. They're great, even if you're not a fan, even if you don't really know the rules or anything. The announcers really take pride in. They do a great job.
Yeah. Amazing.
When the playoffs come around, the announcers really do a great job of broadcasting to a non-educated audience. They'll explain a lot of things. They'll talk in terms that you can really understand and kind of teach you the game.
Yep.
I think it's one of the things that they're really, really best at. So I encourage you, watch some playoff hockey. You won't regret it.
And coming from a person who never played the game of hockey growing up, just watching Alexander Ovechkin when he was a rookie, I really didn't care too much for hockey, but the way that I learned was watching Doc Emmerich, Joe Beninati, Craig Laughlin. Those are the Washington casters, but learning the way that they present themselves and talking about the sport is it's amazing. So that's a great.
And then if you get a little bit more deeper, more interested into it, you watch the intermission shows, and you got guys like Jeremy Roenick and other guys like that are just so smart, and they'll break down the game for you. It's really amazing. So
Enzo.
And you can't get past the fact that playoff hockey is always just nuts. You always got physical play, you got fights, you got scrums at every point along the way. And
exactly.
It's just,
every possession counts.
The crowds are just nuts.
Crowds
super
are
loud.
amazing.
It's just fun to watch.
Yeah.
So, check out some playoff hockey. Thank you for checking us out. I'm Jake Senholz on Sport on Twitter. That's Sports by Malik Jackson over there. This is Mr. Matt Hoyt. Check out his YouTube channel. He is preparing for big things in his future. A lot of good videos of outdoors and music reviews, other things going on over at Matt Hoyt's channel. Again, Sports by Malik, Senholz on Sport. Thanks, everybody. Also, check out the Sports Beat right here on this same YouTube channel. Yeah. New episode going up right after this, I believe. So thanks again, everybody. We'll talk to you once every series from the first round has ended. So with that, have a great night.
Have a great night, guys. Thank you.